And all it took was that one fucking person to believe in me and say, you can do it. And I think you can do it. This story begins when I was, I guess, a child, very little. I've been an artist my entire life. I've always had a pencil in my hand, doodling on something, whether I was supposed to be paying attention somewhere or not. I just always was creating art. In high school, I knew I wanted some sort of art career, but I was scared of burnout. I had heard from a lot of artists that going into an art career can sometimes kill it for you. So I did worry a little bit about that, but art was so important to me, it was hard to think of anything else. And then I remember one day someone was drawing, like one of my classmates was drawing script on some paper, and I was like, kind of curious, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just like trying to make this tattoo. And I don't know, ever since that moment, like something clicked in me where I was all like, tattoo? And then like I was like, oh, those are kind of cool. My older sister was the manager of Hot Topic. I thought she was so cool. Like I was already like very interested in the like kind of more alternative stuff as a kid. And so when I thought about tattoos, I was like, that's art. That's something kind of fun and different. Maybe that's something I could do. So I went to college. I went to VAC, Visual Arts Center, TCC, to further just expand my knowledge of art and learn to become a better artist so I could maybe one day become a really good tattoo artist. I went to VAC for about 4 years. I got my degree in studio arts and I focus a lot on portraiture and realism and color theory, just again to all funnel those things into tattooing one day. I got my degree and I was kind of starting to look around areas in Virginia Beach that I could possibly get an apprenticeship from. I ended up moving sooner than I expected. So I ended up getting up and moving to North Carolina to Asheville. So that kind of put that idea on pause because then I needed to, get a job. Most apprenticeships are not paid. So you do not make money during apprenticeships. So I needed to find a way to survive on my own, especially now that I was living in another state away from family. While I was working, or while I was attending VAC, while I was getting my degree, I was also working part time as a dog groomer. I had started dog grooming because my older sister, who was the manager at Hot Topic, also became a dog groomer. So I looked up to her a lot, and everything she did, I was like, I think I want to do that too. I became a dog groomer because, I love dogs. It's pretty, decent money. You can go pretty much anywhere with dog grooming. Everybody has dogs. So when I did up and move to North Carolina and I lived in Asheville with my now husband. I kept doing the dog grooming thing because, like I said, steady income, but I never like got rid of the fact that I wanted to be a tattoo artist so bad. Dog grooming's creative, it's fun. I get to like color their hair and stuff and do cute little hair things. And so I still got to be artsy. Still got to be creative, but it just wasn't what I wanted. So I finally got to a position where I was comfortable enough. My husband was making decent money where I could maybe start poking around. While I was in Asheville, I went to shop to shop to shop to shop, trying to find somewhere that would take me. They would look at my portfolio and say, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good, but we're not looking for an apprentice." Or they were always, it was okay, but they weren't looking. So I was getting pretty defeated, but I finally did find somewhere that was willing to do like a trial run with me. It didn't work out. The environment was not the best. I really don't think he cared about putting, you know, my art forward or really teaching me. He was more about just breaking me down than kind of lifting me up. So and that unfortunately is very common with apprenticeships, but it was to a degree that I felt like there was no way I was going to get anywhere. Like I couldn't really find myself in that studio. So it was very short lived, and I ended up leaving. Which, when I made the choice to leave, it almost felt like I was telling myself to give up a little bit. So that was that was hard because I was like, well, if I really want it, I'll put up with the bad comments, the the feeling of someone just not believing in you. I'll put up with that because I want it so bad. I just want it so bad. So I tried. It didn't work out. And so I went back to dog grooming, and I got really good at dog grooming, and I built up a large clientele. Years passed, and you know, when I was in Asheville, I think I looked probably at nearly 40 shops, even the ones that I was like, I don't even think these people have licenses. Like, the cleanliness is kind of scary, but I'm like, dude, whatever will get me in the store and will get a machine in my hand, I will do it. Like, I'll do it. I just couldn't find anyone who was willing to take me on. So kept dog grooming, kept doing that almost 10 years. So I was like, I'm going on a full decade. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, most time when people get apprenticeships, they get it in their early 20s. They're a teenager, they're 18. They just got out of high school and they're like in there. And I'm like, is anyone going to think I actually want it that bad? I was just going full on with the dog grooming, even though I wasn't happy. And, I wasn't creating anymore. I was maybe painting or drawing something like once or twice a year, which was insane. There was a point in my life where I couldn't even focus if I wasn't drawing, day one, every single day, and it hurt, but it genuinely felt a part of me was just going. Then one day, a good friend of mine, Anna, she sent me a DM and was all like, "Hey, I don't know if you're still like into this or not, or you're still looking, but studio that's looking for apprentices." And it's funny enough, it was a studio that I was already going to for my tattoos. A good friend of mine worked there, and she did my neck tattoos, my hand tattoos, and I was like, "Oh, that's so crazy." Like I didn't really know the owner, honestly. I didn't even think I could ever afford his tattoos because he was so good. So I never really talked to him or even thought about talking to him for an apprenticeship. But she sent me that DM, was all like, I don't know, you could try. And I was like, fuck it. What do I have to lose? Like, I'm so unhappy right now. Like, I don't want to be a dog groomer. I don't know what I want with my life. Like, fuck it. What's the worst could happen? I went to his post and he said he was looking for someone younger, which is pretty normal for apprenticeships. They want, a fresh young mind that's ready to like get in there, balls to the wall, like tear it up. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm a little older than, what people are typically looking for with an apprentice, but again, what's the worst that can happen? He says no. So I sent him a DM. I was like, hey, I would love to talk to you. I'd love to have, an interview possibly. I know I'm not exactly what you were looking for, but I just want to, give it a chance, show you what I have. And he was immediately down to see my portfolio, which was super awesome. I went in for the interview. I was I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life. Like, I was like, I felt like it was my last chance. Like, I genuinely felt like it was my last chance. And I bring in my portfolio. I'd like ripped up all these like drawings out of my like different portfolios, trying to make a portfolio, knowing I hadn't drawn or painted anything new in like a couple of years because I was giving up on art. But I was like, no, no, okay, I got to do this. I got to whip something up. And so I threw together this portfolio, and I show up, and I'm like hoping he doesn't notice that the signatures say 2016 and it's like 2023. And I'm like, oh my god, I hope he doesn't notice all these drawings are so old. And he looked at them. I showed him my digital portfolio. And he was impressed. He liked them. I thought I had a pretty solid foundation. And we talked about my schedule with me being a dog groomer. And I know with my last apprenticeship that was a huge issue. He didn't want me working, but like I had to survive. So I just did what I could. So I was like, please, like, hope that's not an issue. He was willing to work with it. That was really awesome. And so at the interview, he was like, "All right, yeah, let's get some paperwork printed. Let's get it going. If you're ready, I'm ready." And I was just like, "Wait, is he for real? Like, is he serious? Okay, yeah, okay." And so, like, the paperwork's getting printed. I'm just standing there, like, in the middle of the studio. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, is this gonna actually happen? I'm like, don't get too excited because remember what happened last time? You, like, told everybody. It ended up being, like, the worst 3 months of your life. So, I did that. I went home and I told him the day I could start. I started, and it was happening, and he wanted to help me. They wanted to help me. The other people in the studio wanted to see what I could do. They were like, "Wow, you're a really good artist. Like, here's how you can incorporate like more tattoo styles into your art. Like, here's how you can do this." I'm like, from day one, they're like ready to teach me and like excited to teach me, and it was just so different from the last apprenticeship. Like it went from I'm tired of you drawing this shit to this shit's really cool. Let me show you how we can make it even cooler for a tattoo. And that was just like, oh, okay, this is crazy. And then I think I worked there for 2 weeks and I quit dog grooming. I was like, I don't ever want to. I love dogs, but I'm like, I don't ever want to groom a dog again. Like this is everything I've always wanted. This is what I've been fighting for 10 years. Like I finally have it. And when I got that paperwork that said licensed apprentice, I was like, holy shit, it's on paper. Like, and then when I got the paperwork that said tattoo artist, I was like, no one can take that from me. I did it. I have it. No matter where I go now, nobody can take that from me. And I finally did it. And I worked, and all it took was that one person, that one fucking person to believe in me and say, you can do it. And I think you can do it. He never once said, I don't want you doing this. I don't want you trying this. It was like, next week we're gonna start on fake skin, and then in 2 months we're gonna do this. We're gonna. I never had someone who's like, let's fucking do it. You can already do it. You can draw, so let's fucking do it. And so I'll endlessly be thankful to Mike for that, for just letting me like do my shit and like really believing in me because my whole life is different now. My life is literally finally what I wanted it to be. Like, I'm not sitting there at a table just watching the days go by, grooming dogs, wishing I could have that life that I want so bad. And, like, I have it. I'm getting to travel, tattoo people. People travel to me to get a tattoo. If you have a dream that you want and you feel it, like, literally feel it in your soul, like, don't give up.